There.
We're live.
Now we're live.
Wait. How does it go? We're live from
New York. It's Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, not really from New York. I'm in Minnesota. You're in Texas.
New York-ish. There's a Broadway somewhere.
There might be actually in Minneapolis a Broadway. Let me double check.
Ooh.
I mean, Minneapolis is like the Midwest Broadway.
We just have Dallas.
Is that Texas's Broadway?
Sure. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know.
Minneapolis weather. I mean, is there a Broadway?
Hey, Dylan.
Dylan's here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there. I see a Dylan. Well, we have the Guthrie, which is showing Into the Woods right now, and I need to go see it again.
Go do it. Do it.
Oh man, it's not the same cast. It's not. Otherwise, I would not have driven to Nashville to see it.
Yeah, no.
I was obsessively checking for it to be in Minnesota, but
I like how the YouTube comment pops up first before it does on the.
We're very happy to be stuck with your gay arse, Dylan.
Is the best.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Okay, so the guy who plays the wolf in the Guthrie Into the Woods looks like Dean Pelton in Community, and I am here for it.
That's great. That is fantastic.
Oh, that's funny. Looks like they're not doubling him up with Cinderella's Prince, though, which bothers me. I hate when productions do that. I'll be honest. Johnny Depp, yeah, he played the wolf in the movie version.
I still need to watch that.
It's okay. Again, they don't double it. They don't double up the role because the whole point of doubling up the role is foreshadowing Act 2. But they change Act 2 for the movie.
Oh.
Not substantially. I mean, there's one storyline that's substantially changed.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't hate the movie. I like the movie okay. It's fine. I mean, I like watching Chris Pine tear his shirt open.
5 stars.
10 out of 10, do recommend. And then Billy Magnuson's like, I'm sexy too. And he starts to take his shirt off too. And I'm just like, this is fantastic.
That's funny. That's great.
This is my favorite thing. Sorry, now I'm distracted by Into the Woods because Into the Woods distracts me.
Dylan.
Chris Pine showing us those tree trunk biceps. I'd rather see a different tree trunk of Chris Pine's. Whoa.
You went there.
Dear Chris Pine, if you ever come across this.
Sorry,
I'm
not sorry.
Oh no. But no, the director of the Into the Woods here at the Guthrie is the niece of the person of James Lapine who partially wrote Into the Woods.
Oh.
It's Stephen Sondheim musical, meaning he wrote all the music and lyrics and stuff, and then James Lapine wrote the script. So I wanted to make that joke, but I wasn't going there. Imagine Chris Pine actually coming across this.
Just randomly on YouTube.
And then he's like, you know what? That girl's pretty hot. I'm gonna find her and I'm gonna date her. And I'd be like, yes.
Boom, done.
I am happy with this outcome. Thank you.
Do it.
Yeah, Chris Pine could have any woman he wants in the world, and he would pick this. I am very self-aware that I'm very ugly.
I don't care. I like you.
Beat me up, Chris Pine. Yes, beat me up. Oh my god. I think the dogs are sleeping.
Shocking.
And no, anybody who is watching this on like replay that is not me slyly saying I have a second dog. I am taking care of my sister's dog. Until tomorrow he goes home.
Yay!
I'm very excited for him to go home.
I bet. No more vocal pupper.
My god. Plus their crates are right next to each other. And every once in a while, Miko will try and get something out of Apollo's crate, and I'll wake up to and I'm like, oh god, there's gonna be a fight broken out in the crates.
Oh no.
Oh, these dogs. They're having fun
sleep.
though.
They sleep sometimes.
They do sleep. Oh, Apollo is wide awake. He's staring at me right now.
It's like, why am I in here? Let me
because
out.
Mom's working. That's why.
Dang.
Okay, we are now 6.5 minutes into this. Should we actually like start talking about the things we're supposed to be talking about?
Why would we do that?
Are
we actually supposed to do what we're supposed to do?
Don't we have an outline somewhere?
Oh yeah, it's on the Google Docs.
Oh.
It's a quote-unquote outline. Speaking of outline, I actually started doing mine yesterday.
Ooh, yeah, because that's kind of the whole reason we're doing these is to hold each other accountable. And any guests that also want to jump in at some point, who also want to be held accountable for their
actions.
I mean,
their writing actions. There we go.
Or other actions. That's fine. We can hold people accountable for those too. Oh, I need to switch over to this email.
Yes, Dylan, do it.
Why? Okay, I'm requesting access because apparently neither one of my emails have access to the Google Doc.
Let me pippity poppity over to the property. Let me open another tab because, you know.
That's what we're talking about, Dylan. This right here. I'm going to highlight this comment because this is exactly what we're talking about.
Getting back into writing.
I mean, I've always been into it, but I suffered a major writing slump just as I was starting a brand new project, specifically vlogging the entire journey of starting this new project from like inception to publication is my plan. So this video won't be out for a long time. But then I had but yeah, I had I don't even know where I was going with that anymore. Oh, and then hit this writer slump because I don't know, depression, anxiety, hating your life. It's fine.
Big oof.
And also, excuse you, what? Do we know this story or did you never say this story to us? We need to know the story. And if you can't talk about it publicly, tell us privately in our group chat. What?
We are fish. Maybe we forgot.
You have to remember, I have PTSD, which means I have a bad short-term memory.
Okay, I don't know why you got the permission.
I don't know. It says you need. Oh, wait. It's defaulted to my stupid email. Yeah, see, it says you need access, though. That's what it says right now. You need access.
Did it work?
Did what work?
I gave you access.
Let me click again and see.
Aw, Dylan.
Oh, there we go. Figured it. We got it.
I mean, you're not really missing anything in the Google Doc except my nonsense. So
I mean, but I enjoy your nonsense. All right. So we should talk about, I guess, who we are. I know Dylan knows who we are, and he's literally the only other person in here.
Who are you? Who?
I'm quitting the stream.
Guys, it's my stream. We're taking over
Britts
now.
It's the first episode. And I'm like, I'm done. I can't handle you anymore.
I thought you liked my shenanigans.
Maybe this would actually like turn into a real podcast. We'll see. Right now it's just gonna be a live stream, but maybe one day it'll be a podcast between the two of us. Who knows?
Shenanigans.
But yeah, Dylan, I love you and I'm sorry you got depressed.
Big sad.
Okay, so I guess I will introduce myself for anybody who watches the replay of this live stream. Hi, I'm Britt. So I'm Britt. I used to primarily focus on acting and directing for my creative endeavors. However, writing was always a kind of a hobby of mine. I started obviously writing in school, doing projects, whatever, and then got into writing fan fiction, as you do when you're in high school, when I was about 16, and had recently gotten into anime. So I started doing, I started writing, anime fan fiction, and got kind of this, grew and became better at it. Stopped writing fan fiction for the most part in college. I kind of moved away from anime and started doing Ghost Whisperer fan fiction because I didn't like the way that Ghost Whisperer went, so I just kind of rewrote Ghost Whisperer for them. And because Ghost Whisperer was like my favorite show, and then they went into this like bizarre direction, this very high concept. I mean, it was already high concept, it was about ghosts, but went in this really weird high concept direction. So I just started rewriting it in the way that I wanted it to have gone. And I never finished this big story that I had going on with it. I never finished it, which makes me sad because it was a really cool story.
Aww.
Absolutely somewhat of a Mary Jane story because I was absolutely the character that I was inserting in there. Absolutely.
Of course.
But yeah, so then I ended up stopping that because I went to film school, and in film school you have to write so many papers, especially when you're focusing on history, theory, criticism, that kind of stuff versus filmmaking. And so I had to write a lot of papers, and the only production classes that I did take were like director classes and screenwriting classes. And so I ended up having to write a lot of screenplays. Never like a full feature length film, by the way, always short films, but because writing a full screenplay for a feature film is intense work. So I stopped writing kind of became the background. And then I in the meantime had also been writing off and on 2 different stories that I started in high school. One is a sci-fi, which I'm eventually going to write both of them under a different name because they are going to be young adult. And I want parents to know which books are safe for children and which books are not safe for children.
Smart.
Yeah. And so I want it under a different name, which I've not publicly announced yet. I don't even know if I've told you 2 about it.
You may have.
I might have, because there's a reason behind the name.
I think you did them,
yeah. And so eventually I'll start branding that one out. But yeah, so one's a sci-fi, and it's kind of like Power Rangers meets Animorphs, because obviously those are things that I loved when I was a kid and still to this day love. And then the other one was actually kind of inspired by anime, but it was supposed to originally be an OEL manga, but then I realized I was never going to be able to draw properly, so
Dang.
I am not good at drawing, especially like people. Like I can draw landscapes, I can draw things like that, but I cannot draw people to save my life. So that turned into a novel. And then 2018 rolled around, many years later, and I was like, I'm going to try NaNoWriMo. And I wrote what is now becoming my debut novel that was supposed to be out in May and now is going to be out probably in September, because drama with my editor, who is not my editor anymore. We parted ways mutually, decided to part ways. Well, kind of mutually. He dropped me at the end of the day. in the most unprofessional way to drop a client. But I had already made the decision to not use him going forward at that point. So I consider that mutual. But yeah, so then I somehow settled from going from like sci-fi and fantasy, settled into contemporary romance somehow. So that was a journey. But I like my world in contemporary romance. I enjoy writing contemporary romance. Always loved, chick flicks. And
smoochy.
yes, Dylan, you can absolutely drop kick my editor, my former editor. My new editor is fantastic.
Yay!
She's projected to be done with my project by the 25th of this month. So in 10 days. So then she's already gone through one pass and now is going through a second pass this week and another pass the following week. So, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. So Kay, introduce yourself.
Hello, I am Kay. Nice to meet you. I don't remember any dates, so we're just gonna go with back in like 5th grade was when I started falling in love with writing. And then in like somewhere in high school, the like English project was to write like a short story. And so I wrote like a little short horror story. And that's how I fell in love with writing like horror stuff. But I was always like super into like the sci-fi sort of Star Wars, Star Trek sort of space opera, not hard sci-fi stuff because I'm not smart. I'm not that smart. But yeah, so I kept like writing a story and then never finished it. And then I'd write like some other story. I'd never finish it. So I'm very bad at finishing things until one of the NaNoWriMo. So I did like NaNoWriMo several years, didn't finish except for one time I did finish it. And it was this like the beginning story of this series that I've been wanting to do, which is like a space opera horror. So it's kind of like your typical, oh no, they're in space doing space stuff, but like the galaxy wants to kill you in the process of it. So finished that. And then I was like, okay, I'm not happy with how it went. So I'm completely and utterly rewriting it into like smaller little like novella size books. So we're excited for that. I'm very excited for that.
Yeah. And I think that'll be a lot easier for you.
For sure.
Not easier in the sense of like it's just easier, but like I think it'll be easier for you to create a story if you're not looking at a big picture, you're looking at a smaller picture of the bigger story.
Yeah.
It'll
make it a lot easier because it won't be as daunting. So
yeah, because that's the thing about starting a first draft I've found is like you sit there and you're like
yeah.
Especially when you're going in the direction of like fantasy or sci-fi because of the fact that like those you have to have world building, those are like 100 to 200,000 words, where contemporary romance, I mean, my Deepwater is just under 80,000 at this point in time. Not sure where it's going to end up being after everything's said and done with the editing and stuff, but I'm saying just below 80,000 and it's big. Like that's a big book.
It is a big book.
It's a big book.
He's a big boy.
So I mean, it's 2 love stories in one. So like really, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably pretty short for it being 2 full love stories. So, but
yeah, NaNoWriMo is definitely good for like getting the ideas like out there. But it it's kind of at a bad time though, because it's in November. Like
yeah, that's a busy time at my job specifically. So like the last couple of NaNoWriMos have been real rough for me.
I didn't even do last year because it's like I just couldn't. And it's like I
always think about for your work too. Like
it's crazy busy because it's like my brother's birthday's at the beginning, so that cuts out like a day or 2.
Right.
And then usually before the big like releases, the boss man will always go on vacation, and who gets put in charge? At least now I get paid for it though.
Hey, at least you're being
paid
mostly what you're worth. You're worth a lot more, but
100%. But yeah.
So but yeah, so it's NaNoWriMo was really rough being in November. It's real rough because, like I said, it's a really busy time for me at work. And so, like, by the time I'm done with work, the last thing I want to do is write, 1,700 words.
I know, right? And it's like, it's good when you can get ahead of it, but then inevitably, like, I get migraines, so that knocks out a day. So it's like, it's really rough. I thought about doing Camp NaNoWriMo, but that always sneaks up on me. Like this month, I think.
Forget about it until like partway through July, and I see something about it, and I'm like,
yeah. And it's like, you would think that I would pay more attention because I follow them on YouTube and stuff, because they do like little things during the whole thing, and they're just fun to watch. It's like, oh, it's Camp NaNoWriMo. Okay.
yeah. And so then I was like, dang it. But I don't want to like start in the middle of it. And I know that Camp NaNoWriMo is a little different than full NaNoWriMo, but
it is. It's a lot more lenient because it's like, hey, set your goal and do whatever. Yeah. Whereas NaNoWriMo is usually like, hey, 50,000 words is usually what everybody's going for.
Yeah. Because the point of it is to write a novel, and theoretically, 50,000 words, you've officially written a novel.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's actually 50,000 words, rarely.
It's fun because like there's Facebook groups and stuff, and then there'll be these people who have written like 100,000 and they're still chugging through, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Like, you got some discipline I wish I had.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Deepwater was. Deepwater started as a NaNoWriMo project in 2018.
That's what this one started as. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny how it's changed. Like, as you figure out what you actually want to do with your story, it just like shifts into like this better version of it. It's kind of cool.
Deepwater was originally almost completely different than what it is right now. It was not a Caribbean cruise. It was originally an Alaskan cruise, because I've always wanted to go on an Alaskan cruise. So I thought it'd be fun to live vicariously through my characters. To the point that I joined a Facebook group about us Alaskan cruises, so that I could look at pictures of people's adventures, so I would have like stuff to look at. I'm still part of it. Like, I never left it, but then it just evolved, and I was like, I don't want to write about something I've never done. So I may as well write about the Caribbean, because I've been on Caribbean cruises, and specifically the route that's taken is mostly the route that I took when I was 13. The only difference was the Caribbean, or not the Caribbean, the cruise liner that we took owns an island. And so they stopped there, and I could have stopped at another island on the Bahamas, but like, I just decided to take out that entire stop altogether.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Dylan said, for sure, NaNoWriMo is good to get the ideas down, but trimming it down and focusing is where I struggle. And the thing is, that's the thing about writing, is like, I'm a big proponent of like word vomiting your first draft. Like, just get words on paper. It does not matter if it makes sense. And that came from a creative writing class I took in college back. Oh God, I think I was still in Bemidji, so it was freshman year, I think. And literally he had us set up a blog, and I'm sure we could find it at some point. I'm sure it's still out there somewhere, but we had to set up blogs for ourselves. And all we did the entire day in that class was just write, and he would give us prompts. And sometimes those prompts would literally just be, just write for the next hour. I better be hearing click clacking on the keyboards. Like, I better not hear anything different unless you're getting up to like go to the bathroom or get a drink or whatever. Like, nothing. And like, he's like, I don't care if you just write swear words over and over and over again. I don't care. The point is, put something down. And I think those kinds of days in that class really helped me understand this concept of just word vomit your first draft, because I'm a pantser at the end of the day, which is why sci-fi is not working for me right now, because you can't pants.
Yeah.
You can't pants sci-fi or fantasy. Like, you have to like,
there's got to be some form of planning. Yeah. So derailing. So mom is super excited for like the NaNoWriMo book. Like, I printed it out and let her read it, because she was like, I really want to read it. So I'm like, okay. She drew up basically like a very, very rough map of this galaxy, and I cannot find it anywhere, and I'm so mad. Like, it's a really like basic thing. So like, there's different sorts of galaxies, right? So I was looking through and seeing like which one I wanted. And there's one where it's like it's got like a ribbon sort of in the middle. So I was like, this is a really cool idea. So the galaxy has like a ribbon sort of in the middle, and you've got like the section over here and the section over here, and you've got the ribbon in the middle. So, but I can't find the thing. I thought it was with the binder that has all the pages, but it's not in there. So it's somewhere. I'm gonna have to find it.
Yeah, you have to find it, because then that'll be fun to like really render out properly and actually put in the book.
Yeah, because like I want to find, there's a website, what's it called? Incarnate. So if ever you guys like want to do like maps of your fantasy world, you can use Incarnate. So I can check it out.
That's actually kind of perfect.
It is such a cool website.
So, and real quick, before I get on this topic, I'm gonna answer this. So Panther Dylan, if you don't know what a pantser is, it's actually pantser, like pants. Pantser. So pantser is so there's pantser and plotter. And so a pantser is somebody who just sits down and writes without any plan. Like they know roughly the way the story is supposed to go. They know the characters and stuff. And then you just sit down, you just write it. Then there's plotters, who are the ones who are writing outlines and basically writing the book without writing the book, so that when they write the book, they know from beginning to end. I used to be a plotter, and I learned that I can't, because I don't know if it's the possible ADHD my therapist thinks I have, but my stories kind of take on a mind of their own at some point. And at some point I'm like, wait, this was not the direction I was planning on this going. What happened here?
That's what mine did. I'm like, wait, no, that's not how y'all are supposed to meet.
And so it turns into, so I've just turned into a pantser. But no, so there is a standalone, I mean, kind of standalone. It's mostly standalone. Like you can pick up any book within the series I'm going to write and understand it, but there'll be cameos from previous books in all of the books. So like little Easter eggs, in the next set of books. But it's about a college dorm specifically. So it's called the series itself I'm calling oh my god, why I'm brain farting on my own on the actual name of the book series. Can't think of the dorm's name. Oh my god, I have it written down.
You've told me too, I think.
I know. I can remember the name of the university. It's Mountain View University, and it's a university I made up. I know there is a Mountain View University, but it's not where I have it set. But
I can't think of what it is.
Mountain View University, Hammond Hall, Tales from Hammond Hall. That's what it's called, I think. Pretty sure. I don't know. It's written down. It's absolutely written down with all of my ideas for this series. But what I want to do is I want to actually have like a map of the campus. Like I want to do a campus map.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
And so have that. And so when people would buy like a hardcover, not a hardcover, but like a physical copy of my book from me directly, it would come with like a bookstore bookmark that I've already designed. I actually went to Fiverr and had somebody design me a logo and everything.
That's fun.
I want to have like merch for it. But then like you'd get the bookmark, but you'd also get like a class schedule. And so you would just get like the book with a class schedule and all this stuff. And then coupons for the bookstore.
That's cool. I like that idea.
But yeah, it's funny. So Dylan, you said you had a story about the theater experience at Indiana Jones last night. When the movie started, the lights stayed on for like 5 minutes and we had to get someone to turn them off. Then an hour later they came back on again. Oh no, that's awful.
So funny, because like as I was reading what Dylan was writing, I was like, what would make it turn back on in the middle of the movie? Because like there's I can like
I would guess that that's automatic. Once the movie starts, then the lights are supposed to automatically dim.
Yes, but technology likes to do whatever it wants to do, and there's no rhyme or reason for half of it. So the way that our stuff is all set up is it's a playlist. So everything is timed to a certain point. So you've got your like newbie stuff before the trailers, then you've got your trailers, and then there's these things called macros, which will tell the projector whether to dim the lights, turn off the lights, adjust the volume, do this and that, and like change format if it needs to. So I wonder if like it didn't read the macro or something, but then why did it turn back on again? It's very strange.
Interesting.
Very
interesting. And Dylan said that you're a pantser as well. Welcome to the club, Dylan.
Yay. Although I will probably slowly become a plotter at this point because I need to. My idea. So this is gonna be like, I'm sure you guys have like gone on Amazon and you'll like randomly type
Never.
in like,
I've
oh,
never been on Amazon before in my life.
never. So don't do it. It's terrible. It's bad for your wallet and everything.
It's bad for a lot of reasons.
It is so bad for a lot of reasons. But there's like, so for the sci-fi books, there's a lot of like self-published authors, but I found like you can get these sets of books. It's like a whole series of like 10, 15 books, and they're like kind of short. And it's just like a fun little sci-fi series and like these worlds that these authors have created. And it's like that's kind of what I want to do with mine. So there's gonna be like arcs to each story, and then there's gonna be like this overall like big thing that's gonna happen. I just haven't figured it out yet. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think again though with sci-fi you almost have to be a plotter.
I think so. And it's like I'm having fun because like pantsing it, the characters will like spew out like, oh yeah, this species of this, and oh this moon of this place, and this planet and this system. So it's like I'm taking those ideas because it's like, oh, I like that name that I just randomly pulled out of a hat. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, because there have been 3 different iterations of the Sokoll Chronicles, which is the trilogy, the sci-fi trilogy I want to write. It's called the Sokoll Chronicles, and I have written the Man from the Stars, which is the first book in the Sokoll Chronicles. I have written that 3 times, and I've never been able to finish it because every single time I'm like, this doesn't work. The current iteration, I think, because I wrote that during NaNoWriMo last year, is when I wrote the current iteration of that story. But I think this one will be the final version of it.
Ooh.
But now I'm coming to the realization that I can't tell it from one perspective. I want to tell it from all the main characters' POVs. So now I want to go back through it at some point and start inserting all of the other main characters so that they all have their own, because they all have their own lives, their own arcs, and there's something happening with all of them personally during this attack on Earth, essentially. And so because it's not about space travel, eventually it is kind of. I mean, in the second book there's a bit of space travel,
like
but
teeny tiny little bit.
Yeah, the second book there will be some space travel, but this one is completely set on Earth, and then the second book is primarily set between 2 different planets, and then the third book, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to be totally on Earth or if it's going to go between the 2 planets again. But anyway, but there's an attack on Earth, essentially.
Oh no,
and
my planet, it's under attack again.
Yeah.
Poor Earth can't catch a break.
Never. It's Godzilla or King Kong or Rita Repulsa. I mean, come on now. Or the Yerks.
Oh no, it's Godzilla.
Dylan and I have this friend named Brian. He might pop by at some point. I don't know. His nickname is Zilla. And he fanboyed out when Walter, we went to a convention together about a month and a half ago. We went to a convention together, and we met Walter Emmanuel Jones there, and he just fanboyed out over the fact that he was like, yo, my friends call me Zilla. He's like, well, I'm calling you Zilla. And he was like, oh my God.
That's cool.
He was so happy.
That is cool.
And every time he saw him as we were walking by, he'd be like, yo, Zilla. It was great.
It's not the one that Dylan's talking about, but this is the coolest Godzilla Funko Pop that I've got.
That's really adorable, actually.
He glows in the dark.
That's amazing. Just the eyes or more?
His eyes in like the back part. So yeah.
Because the eyes look like they glow in the dark.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah, I've got like different.
See.
I almost bought the black light one. I saw it and I was like, this thing is so cool, but the store had it for like $30, and I was like, no, I can't. Okay, I'm putting my hat because for those of you who don't know, it's hot, so hot.
Yeah, had this been a week earlier, I would have been like,
We'd both be dying.
my AC was out for the stupidest reason. But
Dylan.
luckily,
Dylan, no. Don't tell me that.
but luckily, because it was such a stupid reason that the AC was out, it was a very easy fix.
That's good at least.
Yeah, because we had to wait an entire week for somebody to come out and take a look. And then I was worried when he came, he was like walking around like the furnace and then going around back to the AC unit and then checking our thermostat. Like he was everywhere. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to require parts.
Oh no, Dylan, you too.
Ugh, yeah.
The worst.
Do you just not have AC just in general, Dylan? Or is your AC out? Curious. Always curious.
Curiouser and curiouser. What is that from?
I don't know, but I know I've heard it. Curiouser and curiouser. I feel like I've heard it recently.
Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I was going to say, I wonder if it was Alice in Wonderland because it sounds like something from Alice in Wonderland, and I've watched that recently.
Boom! You're right. You are correctamundo.
Yeah. You don't have AC, you live in a cheap apartment, or maybe most ACs don't have apartments, or most ACs don't have apartments. Most apartments don't have AC. In my experience, that is correct. Both apartments I lived in had wall units for AC, not like central air.
Oh, like the window units, kind of?
Yeah, but they're like in the actual wall versus taking up a window.
Interesting.
Yeah, and what was really nice about the second apartment I lived in, you can tell Britt loves Alice in Wonderland. Oh God, it's my favorite Disney movie. At least it's not as bad as Fantasia. Fantasia to this day, that's not fair. The wartime era movies, I can't choose which ones are the worst out of those. However, Fantasia made me not violently. Violently is a bit extreme. Physically angry though. I was sitting there that entire movie. I mean, I was like texting back and forth with you, I think, while I was watching it, being like, why? Why is Fantasia? Why is it 2 hours?
Dylan, get yourself like a tower fan or something. That'll help you a bit.
Yeah. And open up windows and put your fans near the windows.
Yeah, then it brings in the cool air.
Yeah.
And
make sure your fans are spinning the correct direction too, by the way. Did you know that fans I
don't remember when I learned that, but I was like, oh, that's dumb. Why would you want it to be in the hot position? But okay.
I was a whole ass adult before I found out that fans have different directions.
Oh,
I was a full ass adult.
I don't remember when I found out, but I was like, that's dumb. It's like, I'm not going to turn on the fan and then adjust it so it goes the other way so it brings hot air. Like,
I would absolutely YouTube video that, Dylan. We are not a fan channel. Kate, do we have similar chairs? No, we do not have the same brand. Okay.
No, mine's a mildly cheap version. I have another version.
This is cheap.
Yeah, this one, I got it at Sam's Club.
I got this at Office Max or Office something. Staples. I don't know.
Not buy another gaming chair because the way that I like to sit, I will buy another mesh back chair because that is like a savior during the summer. So I will 100% buy another mesh back chair, but not another gaming chair. So
I prefer this chair.
I'm trying to see what direction my fan is going so I could tell Dylan if it needs to go counterclockwise or clockwise.
Here, let's just Google it.
Oh, we've
got computers right in front of us, Kay.
Why would I do that? That sounds like a smart thing to do.
Direction ceiling fan in the summer. To keep cool in the summer, your ceiling fan should spin counterclockwise.
Okay. It is indeed.
So then how to change it?
There's a
ceiling fan direction.
There's like
turn off. Okay, so for anybody who wants to know this, I know this is a writer's thing, but you know what?
Researching.
Exactly. Okay, so how to change. So if you have a pull chain fan, you turn the fan off, let it come to a complete stop, check the fan body or light fixture for a reversing fan switch, slide switch in opposite direction, turn fan back on, replace any light fixture removed during this access. Okay. If you have a remote control fan, turn the fan off, let it come to a complete stop, press and hold the fan button on handheld remote control. Light light on the control will blink when direction has been successfully changed. Turn the fan back on. And if you have a smart fan, turn the fan off, let it come to a complete stop. Toggle ceiling fan direction option and simple connect. You would think that with it being a smart fan, that it would just be a button that it would just change.
Hey, fan, swap your route. Heat mode on, cool mode on.
Exactly. Anyway, toggle the ceiling fan direction option in Simple Connect app or use voice command. Hey. To reverse ceiling fan on smart device like Apple HomeKit, Amazon Alexa, or Google Assistant.
Amazon.
No, I just didn't want to say the Echo word because otherwise mine would be like, "What's up, friend?"
See, I don't have to worry about that.
There was one day where my Echo turned on and I was whispering. So if you don't know, your Echo will whisper back. If you whisper to your Echo, your Echo will whisper back.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I accidentally said something that sounded like I'm scared while whispering. And so my Echo whispers back, "If you think you're really, really in danger, you're going to want to call the emergency services." It's already going counterclockwise. Perfect. Good job, Dylan.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I just was like, oh,
that's
okay.
Interesting.
Man, we're good at staying on topic, aren't we? This
There's
is
a topic?
Writing.
Oh.
That's so creepy, but also kind of helpful. Yeah.
It's both nice and makes you concerned.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we at with our current projects so we can have something to hold ourselves accountable for? I have 2 projects right now. One is in editing mode. And the other one I'm still writing the first draft for. I'm at like 14,000 words right now with the first draft.
Ooh.
And this will be substantially smaller than Deepwater because obviously it's not 2 love stories. It's just the one. But the story is taking a very interesting turn that I don't know how to get out of at the moment.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. I don't know how to get one of my main characters out of this current predicament. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm hoping to finish it within a month. I really want to like buckle down and get this sucker finished. Because obviously I can write it in a month because I have written a first draft in a month.
Right.
So I'm already quarter of the way done to 50,000. And if I can aim for maybe 60,000, I think I can probably get that done in a month. I don't know. That's kind of my current goal.
Dylan.
Reminds me of the scene from in the Used or in Us. Okay. I have dyslexia. Okay.
Wouldn't there be an apostrophe if it was Used?
Probably. But my brain doesn't recognize things. My brain doesn't recognize words properly.
Your brain
the whole
rebels.
point of dyslexia.
Your brain's like, no, this is the word.
It takes a minute. It takes actually like an extra few seconds for my brain to recognize symbols. Yeah, where the family is getting murdered. And the lady goes, call the police, playing Fuck the Police by NWA. Oh no.
Like,
oh no.
When the thing doesn't do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So yeah, Kay, where are you at with any of your projects?
So I was on the umpteenth different version of the first draft for I decided to do like so the series is centered around this crew. Basically they're like scrappers, so they find like debris and stuff and they sell it to make a profit so they can keep like living basically.
Right.
So I'm doing the plot for book 0, which is how they meet. So
Okay.
because I was kind of like, do I want to show how they meet or do I want to like flashback scenes? I was like, no, we'll figure that out and see if I want to do a book 0.
Are you gonna release that first, or are you gonna release that like as a prequel later on?
I think I may release like book 0 and book 1 at the same time. So if nobody wants to read book 0, they don't have to read book 0. But like if you want to see like backstories and stuff, then you can read it. So, but the way that I kind of want to do book 0 is so there's like how many characters? There's like 5 or 6 members of this crew, and each one has like an important like thing to do.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to like have one character be like the starting point, and then it just shows like how they meet that next person, and then from that person's point of view, it shows how they meet the other person. So it's kind of like a domino effect, and there may be like time skip and stuff because it's not going to be like back to back. Oh hey, how are you? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, no, you're good, Dylan.
No, yeah, don't worry about going off topic. We've been going off topic little by little this whole stream. It's fine.
I'm great at going off topic.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to know what Deepwater is about, Deepwater is the one that's in editing. It'll be released in September. Hopefully, that's where I'm at. I keep playing with the idea of maybe releasing it literally on my birthday as a birthday present to myself.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, because my birthday's in September. But it's about, for anybody who wants to know, since Kay talked a little bit about that story, Deepwater. What is Deepwater about? I don't even know anymore. So Deepwater, it is. It's a romance. It's 2 romances in one. So tropes. So if you're into romance tropes would be it's an interesting take on fake dating. It's a fake dating trope where the people that are fake dating do not end up together. They end up with different people at the end of the story, but they both fall in love with somebody else. There is my best friend's brother trope. There is because it's set on a cruise ship, so I guess technically forced proximity, because like when you're on a cruise ship, I mean it's a city on the water, so I mean how forced proximity can it be? But at the same time, like you're still kind of trapped on a vast ocean, and what's weird is you're fully aware, because I've been on 2. I've never been on a cruise as an adult. I've only been on a cruise as a kid and as a teenager. But you are fully aware that you're trapped. Like it's interesting. And so essentially there's this main character who is a very successful she's an art director for an animation company, and she is very, very successful. She's been show running this great cartoon for a while, for a few years already, and her show has won an Emmy. Like she's very, very successful, but she's single and she's child free by choice. And her mother, who is not based off of my mother at all, like I want to make that very clear. My mother has always been very, very supportive of the fact that I am child free by choice as well. But she is based on 2 real life mothers that I knew / know, because one's still alive, one is no longer alive. Real things that were said to me are said to the main character by her mother. So a little bit of my own personal like traumas in there. But essentially, her mother doesn't really care about her successes. She thinks the only way to be successful is to get married and have children, because that's what she did. That's the only way to be successful in that world. And so she at some point accidentally blurts out that she's engaged, because her mother just pushes her to this place of like, fine, you want, I'm engaged, blah. and is essentially how it goes. And then she just, because her best friend lives with her, she basically says it's her best friend that she's engaged to, and he's like, this is not going to work. So then they go on this cruise together. Her parents are wealthy, so they pay for this family cruise for everybody to go on, and they go on this cruise together, and they both fall in love with somebody else on the ship. I don't want to give too much away. I mean, the blurb, I guess, gives most of it away, but like I said, there's also my best friend's brother, so you might be able to guess who her best friend might fall in love with.
The cousin.
Yes. So you used to work on a cruise ship, one small one, and it is even more claustrophobic when you're on staff. Yes. So to write properly, because Lori, the main character, the woman main character, falls in love with a crew member on the ship, and I had to do a lot of research on the crew portions of cruise ships because obviously I've never experienced that. And yeah, I can only imagine how claustrophobic those like sardine cans they call rooms that you have to share with another person are ridiculous. I actually became a fan of somebody who works on cruise ships, and he vlogs his journeys on cruise ships, and he'll show his room every once in a while. I'm like, I mean, it's basically a place where you can stand up. That's it. Like it's tiny. These rooms are tiny. I expected them to be more like maybe a little smaller than dorm rooms, because even those are really small when you share with two people.
Yeah.
No, like I can't imagine two people standing up in a room like that. Just awful. But yeah, I can only imagine how claustrophobic it must feel as a crew member, because like I've watched like journeys through like their little tunnel systems through the ship, through the bottom of the ship and stuff, and yeah, I had to do a lot of research on that portion just so that it felt as realistic as it possibly can. There was a lot of that interpersonal hookup culture on the ship I worked on. Cruise ships are basically floating brothels. Yeah, I had come to that realization as I was doing that research, which really helped put that together. So, and that was in the 90s. Yeah, no, the first cruise I would have gone on was in the 90s, and the second cruise ship I went on would have been the year 2000, because it was the year my sister graduated high school. Sorry, Melissa, for letting people know when you graduated high school and how old you are now. She's not here. She doesn't watch my YouTube videos.
Wahaha.
Though I am going to talk to her about possibly coming on my channel for a couple of videos.
Ooh.
But yeah, so that's Deepwater. The one I'm working on right now actually came from me saying something and going, that'd be a great book title. And then I just eventually waited for a story to come with that book title. It's called Where the Vinyl Ends. And so I it's about a couple who are divorced, so it's a second chance romance. It's about a couple who are divorced. But somehow my leading man decided to be in a relationship, in a pretty serious one at that. And I'm like, how am I going to get you out of this? I got to get you out of this serious relationship, buddy. You can't be in love. You have to be in love with your ex-wife. That's the whole point of the story.
What are you doing, dude?
Why do characters have a mind of their own, Kay? They're not supposed to.
Know,
we are their god.
It's annoying. Like, what are you doing? Although I will say, like, having them go off the rails for like the second, their whatever attempt the last one was before I finally decided like to take your advice and plot it out. I discovered the mechanic is going to be a fun little character, so I'm very excited to like broaden his stuff.
My favorite thing, like Deepwater, there is a character that is important to the story, but not like a main character. She's definitely a side character, but she's still kind of an antagonist, but not in a bad way. She's just an antagonist, because an antagonist just goes against what the protagonist wants. So she's the antagonist for my boy main character, who is falling in love with his best friend's brother. But he's an antagonist for she is an antagonist for Ryan. But then I was like, but you know what? Because but she gets a cool story too. And I'm like, do I write a sequel for her?
Do it.
Do I write a sequel for her? Do I get to redeem her? She's not like, she doesn't need a redemption story. She's great. Like, I love the character. She's actually really likable. But I had to make her somewhat dislikable in the book because of reasons.
Oh,
but
of course.
but now I'm like, do I write a sequel for her?
Yes.
I might. We'll see.
Do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Dylan said on my cruise, you got to watch Monsters Inc. right when it came out. That's awesome. Because I know it was a Disney cruise, wasn't it?
Well, even like the cruise that my parents like to take, they'll play movies and stuff at night.
Oh yeah, most cruises do, from what I've understood. I don't think the 2 cruises I went on did, because we never went to one, but there was a lot of like live shows that would happen. There were like 2 different theaters in both of them. There was like these smaller theaters and these bigger theater. I did an interpretive dance of Circle of Life at one of the talent shows.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I have some really fun stories of my time on those cruise ships. Like the time that I turned down a diamond ring for a plastic frog that swam on its own. That also happened. I was 13.
Oh, okay. It makes more sense now.
And then Dylan said, just do it like bringing a baby. Have the fiance get mad and leave in the last 10 minutes. No, because I'm going to have some spice between the 2 main characters falling in love well before that. And I don't want him to cheat. I don't like cheating tropes.
Neither do I. Also, like, the lack of communication stuff just drives me bonkers, because like you 2 could just resolve so much if you just had a conversation.
Here's the thing. There is this romance series I like. I know that the author kind of is in hot water a little bit. But it's the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. And The Deal, very great story. Love the story, love the characters. However, the whole like 3rd act breakup nonsense was miscommunication. Had the 2 just freaking had a conversation with each other about the situation, they would have been fine. Fine. It wouldn't have had to have happened the way that it did. And I'm just like, come on. That's such cheap storylines.
Come on, y'all.
And then, man, crew quarters are really small. At least they were on our ship. I had the largest crew room on the ship, but that's only because it used to be the ship's dark room pre-digital. And no, I don't still have the plastic frog. I probably do somewhere still have the plastic frog. But I haven't seen it in a million years. So I don't know where it is right now. It's somewhere in our 3rd act breakups are fine in romance. Like, I don't mind 3rd act breakups, but they have to make sense.
Yeah, like if they don't make sense, then it's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah. Like there's a 3rd act breakup in Deepwater between one of the couples. But I feel like where that character is brought to makes sense. At least, I mean, I know I'm biased because I freaking wrote it, but
still,
I feel like it makes sense because this character is protecting another character. And so I feel like that made sense for her to be like, hey, we need to cool this off. But anyway, yeah. But no, I should look through our storage and see if I can find Max. That was his name. He was named Max. I did not name him Max. The guy that gave him to me. So that story was the cruise director was putting on a live show, and he asked for volunteers to come up from the audience. And me being a very, very like, look at me kid. I mean, like, I was obnoxious. I still am, but like I was an obnoxious child. My nephew is very much like the way I was when I was a kid. And I remember turning to my mom a couple weeks ago, and I was like, because we were hanging out with them, and I turned to my mom, I was like, was I really like that? And she's like, yes. I was like, was I really that obnoxious? She goes, yes. Go figure. I became an actor. I mean,
That's funny.
But I jumped up and was like jumping up in the air, trying to make sure that I got seen. And he calls me up, and I'm sure he was looking for a kid. Like, I'm sure he wasn't looking for an adult. And so I go up there, and all I had to do was shoot this like Nerf dart into the audience, and whoever caught it got this like gold watch. And so I just stepped on the trigger thing, and it just went off into the audience. So as my gift, I got to choose between a diamond ring or this plastic frog. I am not only an obnoxious 13-year-old at this point, but I am also somebody who has always loved reptiles and amphibians, as per why I had an American bullfrog for 12 years of my life and currently have 4 leopard geckos and a bearded dragon. So I have always loved reptiles and amphibians. And so, I have, it's called cosmemophobia. It is the fear of jewelry. So like I get physically nauseous at the sight of rings and of earrings. I get physically nauseous. That's just one of the reasons why my ears are not pierced. It's why you'll never see me wear jewelry. Like necklaces and bracelets aren't so bad. Those are fine. I can usually wear those or at least see them and be fine. But rings and earrings, I get physically nauseous. Like they make me nauseous. And it's weird.
That is weird.
Yeah. And it's an actual thing. It's called cosmemophobia. And yeah. And so I kind of saw that and I was like, no, because I have this aversion to it. And so I picked the frog, and I became the celebrity for the rest of the week on that damn ship because everybody was there that night. Like not literally everybody, but like everybody. So we were, every time we were in the lift, every time, because on the ship you call it by like the proper English terminology. So we didn't say elevator, we said lift. So we're in the lift, and some people like, aren't you the kid that was on stage the other night? We got a copy of it, and this is what's so heartbreaking. They gave us a copy of it on VHS to bring home with us. Didn't realize that VHS tapes can't go through airport security. They can, like, there's nothing illegal about it, but the mechanical stuff, at least that used to exist, I don't know if it still does, because again, we're talking 23 years ago.
Yeah.
But the X-ray stuff wiped it.
Oh no.
Thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
But yeah, so we don't actually have it anymore. And so like I've always wanted, I asked my parents about it because I was like, do we still have that video? Because I really want to like put it up digitally and like react to it on my YouTube channel, because I feel like that would be really fun to react to something I did when I was freaking 13. And they're like, no, we never had it really. And I was like, no, we had one. Did you lose it? And she's like, no, it wiped clean when it went through airport security.
That is a bummer.
It's so sad.
That is sad.
I have often thought, oh my God, wait a minute. No, was that the, what? No, I think that was the Carnival Destiny. So that was the one when I was like 10, when I was like 9 or 10.
Oh,
that was the first one, I think. I take that back. that was not the one when I was 13. I need to ask mom and dad. Hold on. I'm gonna seriously text. I'm gonna seriously text. Yeah. Not my friend Jeremy. My friend Jeremy won't know. Could you imagine me texting my friend Jeremy like, hey, so
I have a question. He'd be so confused. Be like, what?
He'd be so weirded out.
What are you talking about?
I need to figure it out. I absolutely need to figure it out. I can't remember anymore if it was the one when I was 13. I'm gonna call up to my parents. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll talk about
keep people company.
Hey guys, this is my channel now. So while Brit's gone, we're hijacking her channel. Oh, but Dylan, I could talk about the book because you missed it. So I want to have it so you know how like TV shows have like this end goal, but like in the process, there's like several little arcs for the characters. So I want to do something like that.
Oh,
And Brit's back too
he's
soon.
sleeping.
Why do you? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so there's gonna be a book 0, and it's gonna like have the characters introduce themselves to each other. Why did you make that face? I just look over and you're like,
So apparently my parents are not in their unit because nobody answered me when I went up there.
rude.
I know. I'll figure it out and then I'll put it in a comment on this playback, but I'll also let like you guys know in a group chat which one it was because now I can't remember. I'm trying to remember. No, I hear footsteps.
Oh, go, Brit, go. I will have my moment again. But yeah, but your VHS thing also reminded me of a VHS thing. So you know how when you're in public school and then they always record like the Christmas plays and stuff? I think my parents have that somewhere. I was in the Christmas play. I was a reindeer. I was a reindeer in the Christmas play, and I think we've got the VHS for it.
Flip.
So, but I haven't watched that VHS tape in forever.
Confirmed. It was the Carnival Destiny. So it was the first cruise we went on. So the Carnival Destiny has a new name. It still sails, but it's no longer the Carnival Destiny. So I think the Carnival Sunshine now.
I don't know.
And then there was a Sea Princess. And I can't remember if the Sea Princess.
I thought you were gonna say Sea Witch, and I was like, Ursula?
Sea Princess.
Also, like, I do not have this planned in my head, but I'm pretty sure 2 of the characters are gonna get together, and it's gonna be like an enemies to lovers sort of scenario. Because okay, have you ever seen like the things in movies and like skits and stuff where it's like the one character's like threatening the other character, but it's like you want to make out with that character instead of be intimidated by them? It's kind of like that. But it was in my dream. So it's like, oh, I kind of want these characters to have this sort of moment, but I don't know like when the moment's going to happen. It's not going to happen like in the first book or 2 because I feel like they have to warm up to each other a little bit. Because the one character is going to be like the big meanie of the group.
Oh, it's called the MS Dream now.
Parody of Mad TV skit.
is what the Sea Princess is called. The second cruise I went on, that ship is called the MS Dream now.
The MS Dream.
And it sails around
the world.
Wow, it only just changed in 2023. So it was a Sea Princess from 1998 to 2003. Then it was the Adonia from 2003 to 2005. Then it was a Sea Princess again from 2005 to 2020. Then the Charming 2020 to 2023. And now it's the Dream.
Interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. Let me see. Let me get caught up on the chat. So Dylan says, I have my first video on VHS. I did it in high school with my friends and we made a fake commercial for a class. So cringy. Shayna and I made back, I think it was for psychology when we were seniors. We made like a video about different. It's probably very problematic if I'm completely honest with you.
Oh no,
it'll never see the light of day.
That's good.
It's probably very problematic and very ableist because that's just, we were 19, we were 18,
young and dumb
at the time. Actually, I think she was still 17. I think I had just turned 18 though when we were in that class. But we basically made like interviews for different like mental health problems, which is probably why it's problematic and ableist now. Like,
yeah, that's a little weird.
It's a little weird. It's a little weird.
You know,
we've
grown.
Oh yeah, I am so glad, so very glad that my teenage life is not on the internet.
100%. Although I probably would have had so like back in those teenage days, I'm still a goofball, so nothing's changed out of that. But I took a lot of pictures, so like I've got like my grandma gave me one of those disposable cameras, so I was taking like pictures at the youth group thing and stuff. So yeah, I would probably have filled my Instagram with so much nonsense.
Oh yeah. Let's see.
I removed some of my old videos, but only because of like copyright things, because I was an idiot. I'll use this thing from this anime. Ha ha ha. Hey, little dum dum, don't do that. What are you doing?
She was having her moment, Britt. You were having a moment. Was that when I was sticking my tongue out? When you were having your moment?
No, when you came back after I was chatting.
Oh,
with basically just Dylan.
Got it. I understand.
How dare you take away my moment?
Yeah, mine was a parody of a Mad TV skit, or I guess a ripoff. It ended with my friends offing each other and me smiling at the camera, happily ignoring it. Teenagers are weird. Yeah, wow. That's an interesting video. And then
it's like my old stories where I would have this character just go through everything. Life, death, how did they never died? I don't understand. They were the main character.
I have privated and unlisted the majority of my my old videos. Like the vlogging every day of 2010, most of that is gone from my channel. It's still there because I still want to keep it just for my own sake. There's one video that was outright deleted, and I'm glad because it's very fat phobic.
Oh yeah.
Because I used to be very fat phobic.
I wish I still had the 7 otaku stuff. So
oh man.
That was a bad choice on my end. Like if there was ever something I wish I had done different, it would have been that.
Yeah, what really frustrated me was that they deleted all of those little videos. Why did they delete them? Why didn't they just private them if they didn't want that?
I don't know. Like, because like, isn't it just like you click, and then you delete? But like to unlist a video, you have to go to each individual video.
Back then, yeah. Now you don't have to. Now you can do it. You can do it multi-video.
Really?
Oh yeah. You can do a multi-video now. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh Dylan.
My student film got ruined by our editor. He didn't edit it until last minute, and we played it. And when we played, there was no sound. I was so embarrassed. Yeah, that's awful.
I'd be annoyed.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen really in film school.
That's annoying. I'd be so mad at that little editor. I'd be like, excuse you.
Rude.
It's absolutely a silent film. Silent film without the subtitles. Oopsie.
Don't get me started on the history of silent film.
That's for another video.
There is actually a video where I talk about the history of silent film.
I thought there was.
Yeah. Well, my education is film history, so I am by education a film historian.
There you go. I am by education nothing.
It was a high school class. Yeah, what I think is so funny, like, so the reason I don't ever say what my official degree is, it's a Bachelor of Arts, but when I don't say what my official degree is film studies. And the reason I don't ever really say that is because every time I do, I am met with, I took that class in high school. And I'm like,
oh gosh.
No, you didn't. You may have taken a film studies class, but you did not watch the Odessa staircase sequence like 600 times, did you? No. Did you have to write 20-page papers on a weekly basis? No. For 4 straight years?
Ew. No. Disgusting.
I loved it. I loved studying film. It was incredible. It was such a fun experience of my life going to film school, but it drives me bonkers when people are like, I took that in high school. Not like, that Dylan does that. Dylan does not do that. Dylan has never once done that. I want to make that perfectly clear.
Dylan does not do the thing.
Dylan does not belittle my education.
No, he does not.
I finally fixed my other earbud. I've been working on it as like a fidgety thing for a while.
Oh, I've got this for my fidgety thing.
Oh my God. There are times where I'm like, I don't have ADHD. And then I'll do something. I'll be like,
I have this guy. I've got a bunch of like squishy little dudes. I've got, where is it?
Of course you value our friendship, Dylan. And I value our friendship too. My sister has a few of those. Well, not my sister. I'm sure it's her kids, but I'm not sure which kid it is though. So I'm not going to like be like my nieces and my nephew, or like specifically my nephew has some of those. And those are actually kind of fun. I think I want to invest in some of those.
Get like, because like if you can buy it in store, that way you can check to make sure it pops right. Because some of them are awful poppers.
I have this though, and this is one
I
of
have
my
a
favorite
koosh
fidgety
ball
things.
too. Where is it? I think it got buried. I have so much nonsense on my desk.
I used to have another one that you can see in some of my videos, and it was green, and I got it from like a crane game. I don't know what happened to it, so I bought this one day. I saw it, I think at of all places, Home Depot, and I was like, I'm gonna buy it. An actual koosh.
Actual
Oh my
koosh.
gosh, koosh.
I
Remember
also
the koosh
have
people?
huh?
Do you remember the koosh people?
Vaguely, like very, very vaguely.
Loved the koosh people.
Have a good day at work, Dylan.
Bye, Dylan. I love you.
Bye. Okay, bye.
But anyway, yeah. So now that we've had another break of nonsense, and we have built in dance mode or not, get the vibes a going. We do have that built into this, and maybe instead of dance mode, it's just you and I go on like really weird, random ADHD tangents. But you're changing it. ADHD mode activated. Oh Lord. Because who needs to stay on topic? He is literally updating our Google Doc as we speak of the outline. This is what's happening right now.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
Great.
So goal for next stream. So we're trying to do the second Saturday of each month, but I know like we ended up having to push this one back.
So I was smart and wrote on my calendar because the boss man is going to be gone for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it won't be able to be the second Saturday next month either.
That's fine. But we should probably set the date so that we can ensure that we have goals set for that particular stream. So if we're looking at that, would it be the 19th then?
I've got lunch on the 19th, but I could definitely like adjust so I'm here on time. So
we don't have to have it at 2 either. We can push it back.
We can do like 3 o'clock.
3? We can do 3.
Luckily,
we're both in the central time zone, so it's not like we don't have to do time magic as Jeremy puts it, because he's in Arizona, so he doesn't change with the times. Like he doesn't do daylight savings time, and so sometimes he's in the Pacific time zone, sometimes he's in the Mountain time zone. He's like, time magic, do time magic. Cool. So August 19th at 3 p.m. is when our next stream is going to be. So what is your writing goal by August 19th? What am I holding you accountable for?
You are holding me accountable for bare minimum finishing the outline for book 0. I want to have the outline for that book situated, if not already like starting to write it.
Maybe
because like I gotta change a character's name, because like when I started writing this book it was fine and dandy, but then we got an employee in and their chosen name is the same name of the character in the book, so it's just spelled slightly different, and every time I type this character's name I'm like, I can't do this anymore, so I gotta change the name. I can't. I gotta change the name. So
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out a name.
I had to change Lori's name in Deepwater because I wrote a whole other like first draft. It's the first book of the college series that I'm doing, the new adult college like standalone book series I'm gonna do. And I just really love the name Jordan for a girl. I've just always really loved the name Jordan for a girl.
It's a good name.
Right. And I used it in 2 separate books. And I was like, uh-oh.
Oh, no.
And so, because Lori's original name was Jordan. And then I was like, uh-oh. But I realized her love interest also starts with a J. And so I'm like, this is the one that should probably change. And so I changed it to Lori.
Oh, but it'd be J&J.
So then I did a whole like just sweep of the whole document of like a find and replace every time Jordan pops up to change it to Lori. and nobody has caught a miss in Word yet. So from two separate editors, of course, the first editor ended up being a nonsense person, but you know,
Yeah.
He never prioritized my project, never once prioritized my project. And this one's like, this is my only project I'm working on. This is my priority until it's done. And I'm like, because when we first started talking, she was like, well, I wouldn't be able to start it until this date anyway, because I'm working on this project and I don't want to overstress myself. And I'm like, that sounds great. So my project is her priority, which is fantastic. So, and I really like how communicative she is. She's fantastic. So
that's good.
If there's any other writers out there who need an editor, I have a recommendation.
Nice.
But yeah, so okay, so my goal, I don't know what my goal is going to look like yet. I mean, I have to figure it out, because obviously I have Deepwater, which I need to get ready for release. So my goal for Deepwater would be to be at release, and or not at release, but like ready. Like I want to have the editing done by August 19th if I'm really going to release it in September, because I have a lot more that I have to get done for the actual publication of, like, I have to format it. I have to get the wrap figured out for the physical book, all that stuff. So I want to get that done, be at release, ready for fun. With Where the Vinyl Ends, I would like to be done with the first draft, but I'm also not going to I'm not going to be upset with myself if I'm not done with the first draft, because there's a lot that I have to do with Deepwater still.
Yeah.
So I that's like a secondary goal. If I can get it done, great. If not, I'd like to at least be at a point in that story where I am in a good place with it. Because like I said, I'm vlogging this. I'm vlogging that journey from beginning to end, from conception to publication. So I also want to be able to put that video together eventually.
Yeah. One day, someday.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's my secondary goal, is to possibly have the other book done, like the first draft of it done. But we'll see, because obviously Deepwater has to take
the
priority. Ocean View 56 says, can't wait for the book to be released. Well, thanks. I can't wait for any of our books to be released between both of us, because both of us are very excited to work on these projects.
Underline. I didn't tell you to underline. I told you to italicize. Jerk.
Well, you know what? It decided it wanted to underline instead.
Well, you know what?
Very mature.
I am the most mature of the two of us. I've got a big boss job now, so
do I.
I know. I made a joke in the the manager group chat. I was like, I'm the no fun boss today, because we were supposed to have the VP dude and his boss show up for a visit, but then they canceled. So I was like, I'm gonna be the no fun boss, because you guys need to do all this cleaning, please. They thought it was funny.
Yeah.
They're like, you're so funny. Hilarious.
All right. Oh, I always say I'm hilarious, because you have to be high to appreciate my humor. But see, then when somebody laughs at that, I go, see. Anyway. Funny. So yeah, so now we have our goals. Again, we want to try and keep our goals as simple as possible, because we don't want to overstress ourselves. We don't want to we want to look at those smaller steps versus the bigger steps. Because obviously we're both, I mean, I'm guessing you're going self-publish.
Probably,
yeah. And I mean, at some point, if anybody wants us to talk about why we want to go self-published versus traditionally published, there's a lot of reasons I want to go self-publish. Actually, there's like a short on my YouTube channel that talks about.
There is, yeah. I was about to say, you've
Reasons.
already said your reason.
I have, for the most part. I mean, there are other deeper reasons or more in. I could go more into depth of those reasons why. Because with YouTube Shorts, I have to keep it like at a minute.
Yeah,
So.
people's attention span isn't very long on the shorts.
No. But yeah, we want to keep our goals as reachable as possible because obviously we both also have full-time jobs.
Yep.
That are soul sucking.
So much so. At least now I'm limited to the 40 hours and I'm not working like 50 hours each week now.
That's nice.
So that's nice.
My next step will be salary. I know you're already salaried.
I am. And I will say, make sure you like do the math because I didn't quite think to do the math to make sure like your weekly or whatever pay will match what you need in the end. So yeah.
Yeah. My next step is salary. And I've already been very vocal about the fact that I will be very protective of my hours when I am no longer collecting overtime.
Yes. Like, nope.
I mean, I have to live in this capitalist society, but that does not mean I have to adhere to it.
I know, right? Rebel against the capitalism, but only as much as you can because it's expensive.
Yeah. If I'm not going to be paid for overtime, I'm not going to be working overtime.
I know, right? Like, you know, pay, I know work.
That's right. Simple. I'm not going to work for free.
No.
But yeah, so we're looking forward to our next stream. Like I said, eventually this might evolve into a full-on freaking podcast. We don't know. With how little we can say on topic, I think streaming might be the best idea for right now.
Well, it could be like a writing and chit chat sort of podcast where it's like, these two can't stay on topic, and that's why you're here.
And they think they can write a whole freaking novel. Psh,
novella. I understand I can't do a novel.
This is true. We talked about this earlier in the stream.
Because like the only thing that I've finished like ever is like a short story. So
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And Deepwater was the first novel I finished. Well, that's not entirely true, but it was it. Yeah, no.
Ish.
Yes, it was the first novel I ever finished. It's also the longest novel I've written at 80,000 words, almost 80,000 words, just under 80,000.
Yeah, I don't know how long, because like back before we had internet, like I'd be on my computer or in my notebooks writing and writing and writing, and I would finish those, but they are a hot mess. Like they're a hot mess. So it's like those will never see the light of day. But I don't know like how long.
But you could pull ideas from them if you still have them.
I do still have them because I don't get rid of anything.
Me either.
But the other ones are like on an old computer. So like they are on floppy disks is what the
that kind of old computer.
That kind of old computer. I still have them. I have the floppy disks. I have the old computer. So like if ever
what
I
size floppies? The big ones or the little ones?
The little one. I think it's the little ones.
They're
like
that were like this.
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
I have them somewhere. I don't think I have them here. I think they're at the other house.
Yeah. I remember oh my god, the 90s. The 90s were a wild time, Kay.
They were so great.
Floppy disks. And then like my nieces and my nephew call it the save icon. And I know like that's a big thing with Gen Z.
It is. It's like
save icon. And I was like, it's called a floppy disk.
It's a floppy disk, y'all. Yeah, because anytime you tell like a younger kid like what it actually is, it's like their mind is blown. They're like, what?
This used to be a thing with stored stuff. And how small that memory was.
For what?
Floppy disks. How small that memory was.
It was tiny. It was like kilobytes, wasn't it?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, because like stuff wasn't like super big and hefty then. Now it's like I've got like a 250 gigabyte thumb drive for giggles. Like
I have a 1 terabyte external hard drive.
I've got a 4 terabyte hard drive in my computer right now.
I need to get a new internal hard drive, and I want to get like a big one. Like my current, the one that came with this computer is 1 terabyte, but I want to get like a 4 to 7 terabyte internal and install it. I don't know how to install it. Apparently it's easy.
It's so easy. It's like the easiest thing to like add to your computer. Probably.
Yeah, and this is a gaming computer, so it's built to have more added in.
Oh, perfect.
They've got shelves for like 3.
Wonder what purpose those floppy disks are for. I wonder.
Anyway, so I guess that is pretty much all we have for the stream.
I mean, we could keep yakking. It just
we absolutely could keep yakking, but I am a little hungry, so I do want to go get a snack. And it's 3:30. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I'm probably gonna get a glass of wine.
I'm probably gonna take some headache medicine and point a fan at me because my head hurts. And I know why my head hurts, so you know it's the fun biology of it all. Yeah. So
I am genuinely surprised that Miko stayed as quiet as he did through this stream. I really thought that Miko was going to go bonkers.
I figured like halfway through he would just start howling and wanting out and stuff. Like, ow.
But yeah, so that's
the plan.
That's the plan. So every stream, if you want to join us on any stream going forward, whether you're watching right now or watching playback, we're going to come in and introduce ourselves and talk about our journey in the writing, as well as have our ADHD take us way off topic at times. And set goals for the next one. We'll also sometimes have guests. So sometimes we'll have like a third person joining us to talk about their journey in their writing. So, you know, we luckily have a lot of writer friends or just creative friends in general. And it doesn't have to necessarily be writing per se, but we just want to keep each other accountable. It's kind of the point of this. So get to work on stuff, Kay.
Do the thing. I'll probably start poking at the outline a little more.
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm hoping each of our streams are going to be like. I'm jazzed to get off the stream and like start working on my stuff.
And ready to go.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you go enjoy your headache medication and pointing a fan at you. I am going to push these dogs back outside because they deserve to get some running around because they have been locked up for an hour and a half, just so that I didn't have to think about it. So I want them to get some exercise in. And then, we'll catch you guys on our next stream on August 19th at 3 p.m. Central Time. Bye.
Bye.